I need to tell you something before I lose my nerve. My name is Marcus Chin. I was a night security guard at the Berkshire Industrial Complex for 6 years. Good pay, quiet nights, no drama. The kind of job you keep because it's stable, not because you love it. But 3 weeks ago, I broke the only rule that mattered. They told me on my first day, never check camera 7 after midnight. I should have listened. What I'm about to tell you, I got the footage. I've got the recordings. I've got proof that something is very wrong with that building. But before we get into that, you need to understand what kind of place the Berkshire Complex is. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of stories that will make you question whether you're truly alone right now. You're listening to Silent Scream Chronicles. Do well to subscribe, share, and hit the like button for more tales to come. And also let me know where you're listening from in the comments. The Berkshire Industrial Complex sits about 40 minutes outside of Cleveland, right off Route 82. It's one of those sprawling warehouse facilities built in the early 90s. 3 stories, gray concrete, small windows. During the day, it's a logistics hub. Forklifts moving pallets, trucks backing into loading docks, guys in high-vis vests shouting over the beeping of machinery. At night, dead silent. My shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. 4 nights a week, Sunday through Wednesday. The job was simple. Walk the building twice per shift, monitor 15 security cameras, log any incidents, and make sure no one broke in. In 6 years, the most exciting thing that happened was a raccoon setting off a motion sensor. The security office was on the 2nd floor, a windowless room about the size of a walk-in closet. Desk, chair, coffee maker, and a wall of monitors showing feeds from all 15 cameras. Most of them pointed at loading docks, stairwells, and parking lots. Standard stuff. Asterisk camera 1 asterisk main entrance. Asterisk camera 2 asterisk north parking lot. Asterisk camera 3 asterisk south loading dock. Asterisk camera 4 asterisk west loading dock. Asterisk camera 5 asterisk first floor warehouse. Asterisk camera 6 asterisk 2nd floor offices. Asterisk camera 7 asterisk east loading dock. Asterisk camera 8 asterisk 3rd floor storage. Asterisk cameras 9. 15 asterisk perimeter fences and exterior blind spots. Camera 7 was different. They told me about it during orientation. My supervisor at the time was a guy named Ed Caraway. 50-something ex-military, the kind of guy who wore his badge clipped to his belt even off-duty. He walked me through the security office, pointed at each monitor, explained what I'd be watching. When he got to camera 7, he tapped the screen twice. "This one glitches," he said. "After midnight, it goes to static. Don't waste time trying to fix it. Just leave it alone." I asked why we didn't just replace the camera. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, "We did. 3 times. Same problem. He says it's a wiring issue in the east dock. Not worth the cost to rewire the whole section. So we just don't use it." Fair enough, I thought. One less camera to worry about. "But here's the thing," Ed added, leaning in. "If you do check it after midnight and the feed comes back, don't watch it for more than 60 seconds. You hear me? 60 seconds max." I laughed. Thought he was messing with me. He didn't laugh back. "I'm serious, Marcus. If camera 7 comes on after midnight, you watch for 60 seconds, then you turn the monitor off. Don't go down there. Don't investigate. Just log it as a glitch and move on." "Why?" "Yes." Ed stood up, grabbed his coat, and headed for the door. "Because the last guy who didn't follow that rule quit the same night. Wouldn't even come back for his last paycheck. Then he left." I didn't think much of it at the time. Security guards love their ghost stories. Keeps the night shifts interesting. I figured it was just hazing the new guy. For 6 years I followed the routine. 10 p.m. clock in. Brew coffee. Check the monitors. 10:30 p.m. first walkthrough. All 3 floors. Check doors, windows, fire exits. 12 a.m. back to the office. Monitor the cameras. Scroll on my phone. Watch YouTube. 2 a.m. second walkthrough. Same route. 4 a.m. back to the office. Try not to fall asleep. 6 a.m. clock out. Go home. Camera 7 would go to static every night at exactly 12:07 a.m. Not 12:05. Not 12:10. 12:07 a.m. On the dot. I stopped even glancing at it after the first year. It was just part of the routine, 15 monitors but really only 14 that mattered. The east loading dock, as far as I was concerned, didn't exist. Until last month. It was a normal shift. I'd finished my first walkthrough. Nothing unusual. Locked doors, empty hallways, the usual hum of HVAC units keeping the building from freezing. I grabbed a granola bar from my bag, settled into the chair, and pulled up a video on my phone. That's when I heard it. A low droning hum. Not mechanical. Not the furnace or the air handlers. This was different. Deeper. Like the sound a power transformer makes right before it blows, but sustained. Constant. It was coming from below me. The east loading dock. I muted my phone and listened. The hum continued. Steady, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then it stopped. Silence. Waited. 10 seconds. 20. Nothing. I exhaled, shook my head. Probably just the building settling. Old concrete, cold night, weird acoustics. I'd heard strange sounds before. But then my eyes drifted to the monitor wall. Camera 7 wasn't showing static. It was on. The feed was grainy, like someone had smeared Vaseline on the lens, but I could make out shapes. The loading dock. Concrete floor. Metal roll-up door. Overhead lights casting harsh shadows. Everything looked normal. Except there was a figure standing in the center of the frame. I leaned forward, squinting at the screen. It wasn't moving. Just standing there. Facing the camera. I couldn't make out details, the static was too heavy, but I could see the outline. Human shape. Maybe 6.5 feet. Wearing something dark. A coat. A uniform. I glanced at the timestamp. 12:14 a.m. Ed's voice echoed in my head. Don't watch it for more than 60 seconds. I checked the clock on the wall. I'd been looking at the screen for maybe 15 seconds. The figure still hadn't moved. I told myself it was a trick of the static. Pareidolia, the brain finding patterns in randomness. Like seeing faces in clouds. But then the figure tilted its head. Not like a person stretching their neck. Like something studying the camera. Curious. Deliberate. My pulse kicked up. 30 seconds. I reached for the radio clipped to my belt. Standard protocol. If you see someone in the building after hours, you call it in. But my hand hovered over the button. What was I going to say? Hey, dispatch, there's someone on camera 7. You know, the one that's supposed to be offline? Kept watching. The figure took a step forward. Then another. It moved smoothly, too smoothly. Like it was gliding. 45 seconds. Stopped about 10 feet from the camera. I could see more details now. The static had thinned out like the feed was stabilizing. The figure was wearing a uniform. Security uniform. My uniform. Same navy blue jacket. Same badge placement. Same radio on the belt. But the face. I couldn't see the face. The overhead lights created a shadow across the upper half of its body. And where the face should have been, there was just darkness. Not shadow. Not obscured by the angle. Absence. 55 seconds. The figure raised one hand. Slowly, deliberately. And pointed directly at the camera. Me. Then the screen went black. Not static. Not a frozen frame. Just black. I sat there, heart hammering, staring at the dead monitor. The hum started again. Louder this time. And it wasn't coming from the east loading dock anymore. It was coming from the hallway outside my office. I should have called it in. I should have locked the door, radioed dispatch, and waited for backup. But I didn't. Because part of me stupidly, stubbornly needed to know. Was someone messing with me? Had Ed put someone up to this as some kind of elaborate prank? Or was there actually someone in the building? I stood up, grabbed my flashlight and opened the door. The hallway was empty. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Linoleum floors stretched in both directions. Left toward the stairwell, right toward the offices. Everything looked exactly as it should. Except for the hum. It was louder out here, resonating through the walls. I could feel it in my chest. I turned left toward the stairwell. The east loading dock was on the ground floor, accessible via the stairs or the freight elevator at the end of the hall. Chose the stairs. The stairwell was colder than usual. My breath fogged in front of me as I descended, flashlight beam cutting through the dark. The hum grew louder with each step, no longer a drone but almost a vibration, like I was walking toward the subwoofer at a concert. I reached the ground floor door and paused. Standard protocol. Announce yourself before entering a potentially occupied area. Security, I called out. If anyone's in there, identify yourself. No response. I pushed the door open. The ground floor hallway was identical to the one above. Same lights, same floors. But something felt off. The air was heavier, ill, like the ventilation had been shut off for days. I walked slowly, flashlight sweeping left and right. Offices on either side. Break room. Restrooms. All empty. At the end of the hall, the double doors leading to the east loading dock. The hum was coming from behind them. I pressed my ear to the door. The sound wasn't mechanical. It had texture, layers, like multiple tones stacked on top of each other. And underneath it all, something else. Breathing. Low. Rhythmic. In sync with the hum. I gripped the flashlight tighter and pushed the door open. The loading dock was exactly as I'd seen it on camera 7. Concrete floor. Metal roll-up door. Overhead lights casting long shadows. Me. No figure. No person. No prank. But the hum was deafening now. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, reverberating off the walls, the floor, the ceiling. I swept my flashlight across the space. That's when I saw it. In the far corner, near the roll-up door, there was another door. A door I had never seen before. It was old. Really old. Solid wood, painted gray, with rust stains bleeding down from the hinges. The kind of door you'd find in a building from the 40s or 50s. Not a modern warehouse. And it was padlocked. From the outside. I approached slowly, flashlight trained on the door. The padlock was heavy-duty, industrial grade. The wood around the frame was splintered in places, like something had tried to force it open from the inside. There was a small placard next to the door. Faded, barely legible. I leaned in and read it. Sublevel access. Authorized person only. 1953. Sublevel. The Berkshire complex didn't have a sublevel. I'd walked this building hundreds of times. I'd seen the blueprints during orientation. 3 floors. No basement. No sublevel. I reached out and touched the door. It was warm. Not room temperature. Warm. Like there was heat radiating from the other side. The hum stopped. Complete silence. I stepped back, pulse hammering in my ears. Then, from behind the door I heard it. Voice. Muffled. Distant. But unmistakably human. It was calling my name. Marcus. My blood went cold. Marcus, help. It was a man's voice. Trained. Desperate. I backed away from the door. Who's in there? Shouted. No response. Then softer. Please. I grabbed my radio. Dispatch, this is Chen at Berkshire. I need backup at the east loading dock. Possible person trapped in. Static. The radio was dead. I tried again. Nothing. I looked at my phone. No signal. Not even one bar. The lights flickered. Once. Then they went out completely. My flashlight was the only source of light now, cutting a weak beam through the pitch-black loading dock. And in the silence, I heard something new. A step. Low. Deliberate. Coming from behind me. I spun around, flashlight sweeping across the room. Nothing. But the footsteps continued. Echoing. Getting closer. I backed toward the door to the hallway, keeping my light trained on the darkness. That's when I saw it. Shadow. Human shape. Moving along the wall, but there was no one casting it. It slid across the concrete like oil, fluid and wrong, heading straight toward me. Ran. I burst through the double doors and sprinted down the hallway, flashlight bouncing wildly. Behind me I could hear it, the thing moving. Not footsteps anymore. Something heavier. Dragging. Scraping against the floor. I didn't look back. I hit the stairwell door and took the steps 3 at a time, lungs burning. Second floor. I needed to get back to the security office. Lock the door. Call for help on the landline. But when I reached the second floor landing and shoved the door open, I stopped. The hallway was wrong. Same layout. Same doors. Same fluorescent lights. But the walls were closer. Not by much, just a few inches, but enough that I noticed. Enough that it felt claustrophobic. Suffocating. And the lights were flickering in sequence, from one end of the hall to the other, like a wave rolling toward me. I turned back to the stairwell. The door was gone. Just a blank wall. I pressed my hands against it. Solid. No seam. No handle. No, no, no. I muttered, spinning around. The hallway stretched out in front of me. Longer than it should be. The door to the security office. My office was at the far end, barely visible in the flickering light. I started walking. Then running. The hallway didn't get shorter. I ran for what felt like minutes. The door never got closer. The walls kept narrowing. The ceiling lowered. The lights flickered faster, strobing now, disorienting. And behind me I could hear it again. The scraping. The breathing. Getting closer. I looked over my shoulder. The shadow was back. But it wasn't on the wall anymore. It was standing in the middle of the hallway. 10 feet behind me. Blocking the light. I couldn't see details, just the outline. Wrong proportions. Arms too long. Head tilted at an unnatural angle. Started walking toward me. Not fast. Not running. Just walking. Steady. Patient. Like it knew I had nowhere to go. I turned back to the security office door. It was right there, 20 feet away. I sprinted. Slammed into the door. Grabbed the handle. Fuck! I screamed, pounding on it. Open! I fumbled for my keys. Hands shaking. Dropped them. Grabbed them again. Found the right key. Shoved it into the lock. The shadow was 5 feet away now. I turned the key. The door opened. I fell inside, slammed it shut behind me, and locked it. Silence. I pressed my back against the door, gasping for air, waiting for something to hit the other side. Nothing happened. Slowly I turned and looked at the security office. Everything was exactly as I'd left it. Monitors. Coffee mug still steaming. Camera 7 was on. And it wasn't showing the loading dock anymore. It was showing this room. The security office. From an angle that shouldn't exist. I stared at the screen. The feed showed the desk, the chair, the monitors. But the chair was empty. I was standing right here in the room, but I wasn't on the screen. I waved my hand. Nothing. I walked toward the camera's supposed location, the corner of the room near the ceiling. There was no camera there. Just blank wall. But on the screen, the office door began to open. Slowly. And something stepped inside. I spun around. The door behind me, the real door, was still closed. Still locked. But on the screen, the figure was walking toward the desk. My desk. Stopped in front of the monitors. And turned to face the camera. Face me. I saw its face for the first time. It was mine. Same eyes. Same nose. Same scar on my left cheek from a car accident in college. But wrong. The skin was too pale. The eyes too dark. Not just the pupils, the entire eye. Black. Reflective. Like polished stone. And it was smiling. Not a natural smile. Too wide. Too many teeth. It raised one hand and pressed it against the screen, against the camera, like it was touching glass from the other side. Then it mouthed 2 words. Let me in. The lights went out. I woke up in my car. 6:47 a.m. Sunlight streaming through the windshield. Engine off. Keys in my lap. I was parked in the Berkshire Complex lot. Exactly where I always parked. For a moment I thought it had been a dream. A hyper-realistic, stress-induced nightmare. But my flashlight was on the passenger seat. Batteries dead. My uniform was soaked with sweat. And my boots were covered in dust. Gray. The kind of dust that accumulates in places that haven't been disturbed in years. Check my phone. No missed calls. No text. But there was a notification from the Berkshire security app, the one we use to log shift activity. Badge scanned. East loading dock, 12:14 a.m. Badge scanned. Sublevel access. 12:52 a.m. Badge scanned. Security office. 3:17 a.m. I stared at the screen. I'd never scanned my badge at the loading dock. I didn't even know you could scan into a sublevel, because there was no sublevel. And 3:17 a.m. I didn't remember anything after locking myself in the office. I went straight to Ed's house. Didn't even go home to change. He lived in a small ranch-style place about 15 minutes from the complex. I banged on the door until he answered. Marcus. The hell are you? What's in the sublevel? I interrupted. His face went pale. He stepped outside, closed the door behind him, and looked around like he was checking for witnesses. You went to camera 7, he said quietly. It wasn't a question. There's a door in the loading dock, I said. Padlocked. Says. Sublevel access. 1953. What is it? Ed rubbed his face. He looked 10 years older than the last time I'd seen him. How long did you watch? He asked. What? Camera 7. How long did you watch it? I hesitated. I don't know. Maybe 90 seconds. He closed his eyes. Jesus Christ, Marcus. What does that mean? I demanded. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, You were supposed to stop at 60. Why? What happens after 60 seconds? After 60, he trailed off. Shook his head. After 60 seconds, it starts watching you. Told me the story. The Berkshire complex was built in 1992. But it wasn't the first structure on that land. Before the warehouse there was a factory. Built in 1953. Manufactured parts for Cold War-era military equipment. Classified stuff. And underneath the factory, there was a sublevel. No one knows exactly what they were doing down there. The records were sealed. But in 1959 there was an incident. Fire officially. 7 workers died. The factory was demolished in 1964. The sublevel was sealed. When Berkshire bought the land in the 90s, they built right over it. Never excavated. Never acknowledged it. But the sublevel is still there. And according to Ed, it's not empty. Every few years, he said, someone sees it on camera 7. A door. And if they watch for more than 60 seconds, it sees them back. What sees me back? Asked. I don't know, Ed said. No one does. But the last guy who watched too long started seeing himself in reflections. But not himself. Something wearing his face. He said it followed him home. Waited outside his house. Just standing there. Every night. Watching. What happened to him? He moved out of state. Last I heard he was in Montana. Changed his name. Won't talk about it. It put a hand on my shoulder. You need to quit, Marcus. Today. Don't go back. Don't pack up your locker. Just walk away. And then what? Said. It just goes away. He didn't answer. Because he didn't know. That was 3 weeks ago. I did what Ed said. Quit. Didn't even submit a 2-week notice. Just sent an email and never went back. For the first week I thought I was fine. No weird dreams. No shadows. No figures in the dark. But then I started noticing things. Small things. My phone would unlock itself in the middle of the night. I'd wake up at 3:17 a.m., always 3:17 a.m., and find the screen on. Camera app open. Black screen. No feed. Just the front-facing camera. Pointed at me. I changed my passcode. Kept happening. Then the reflections started. I'd see myself in the bathroom mirror, brushing my teeth. Normal. But sometimes just for a second the reflection would move half a beat too slow. Or it wouldn't blink when I blinked. Once I walked past a storefront window and saw myself standing inside, facing out. But I was on the sidewalk. The figure in the reflection didn't move. Just stood there, watching. I keep the lights on at night now. All of them. But 3 nights ago, I woke up at 3:17 a.m. My phone was on the nightstand. Camera app open. And this time the feed wasn't black. It was showing a live view of my bedroom. From the corner, near the ceiling, where there is no camera. And in the corner of the frame, behind my bed, just out of the light, there was a shadow. A human shape. It wasn't moving. Just standing there, watching me sleep. I'm telling you this because I need you to understand something. If you ever work security, if you ever see a camera that's offline or glitched, don't check it. And if you do, don't watch for more than 60 seconds. Because whatever's on the other side of that feed doesn't stay there, follows you. And once it knows who you are, it doesn't stop watching. I don't know what it wants. I don't know what happens if I see it face to face. But I'm starting to think I'm going to find out soon. Because last night I heard the hum again. That same low, droning sound. It wasn't coming from the warehouse. It was coming from my closet. And when I opened the door, there was a padlock on the inside. Gray. Rusted. Exactly like the one on the sublevel door. I didn't put it there. I don't know how it got there. But I know one thing. It's waiting for me to open it. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. I know how this sounds. I know it seems impossible. But I've got the footage. I've got the logs. I've got photos of that padlock in my closet. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. I hope you never have to. But if you've ever worked a job where something felt off, where there was a room you were told not to enter or a camera you were told to ignore, leave a comment. Let me know I'm not the only one. Because I need to know. Is this just happening to me? Or is this happening everywhere? Subscribe if you want to hear more. I got other stories. Things I saw. Things I can't explain. Hit the like button if this creeped you out. And share this with someone who works night shifts. Maybe they'll recognize something I missed. I'll be back next week. If I'm still here. Stay safe. And whatever you do, don't watch Camera 7.